tripped balls last weekend. I tripped ball sack.
I heard a white dude say that. I wanted to say it ever since. You want to hear my acid story? I mean, it doesn't matter. I paid to be here, so we're going to.
And I'm here telling it to a bunch of sweaty open micers because my family won't listen.
It wasn't my fault, though. My Venezuelan friend Ricardo, he told me that he never tripped before. Never. And we're straight dudes, so we gotta make everything a competition. What are you, a pussy? He's like, no, puta madre, I'm not no pussy. So I give him a tab of acid. And I usually take one, so I took one too. And he saw me do this, so he pulled the same card. He said, what, are you a little bitch? So I take 3. 3's too much. I don't know if you know acid. 3's too much of any drug. But imagine him. I'm supposed to be trip sitting Ricardo, and he's tripping in another language. That's his 3rd language. You ever trip in another language? You can do stand-up comedy in 3. You ever try acid in 4? And our brains have synced up at this point. Because when you trip acid with someone, you sync up like girls on their period. And I'm realizing this as we're running outside on the streets of Brooklyn. I don't remember leaving my apartment, but we're running on the streets of Brooklyn. I'm not wearing shoes, and he's only wearing boxers. This is like the only true part of the story, I swear to God. Ricardo looks at me with these unrecognizable eyes. Bro, they're laughing at my boxers. Then we walk into a movie theater. Something that you never do anymore when you're an adult. Now you gotta plan it all in the group chat. You gotta split the Uber fare. Gotta confirm with the group chat. Do all the stuff with the apps in the cloud. But one thing I noticed during this film was that everybody was on their phone. Every time I would get lost into this movie, a guy right in front of me would lift up his phone and shine a bright-ass light on his stupid, dumb face. And I could tell that Ricardo didn't want me to say anything. He knew what I was thinking. I was pissed off. This one dude in front of me, I leaned my face right up next to his. What you looking at? I said, huh? I'm like, what are you looking at on your phone in the movie? I'm just looking at my bicycle. I'm just looking at my bicycle. He switches to Snapchat. I'm like, who are you texting right now? Who are you texting? That's just my girl. She just got out the shower, you know.
You know what? My bad. He puts his phone down. I swear to God,
everybody in the row, phones down. And one thing I promise you is that on acid, you're not going to see any interdimensional galaxies or space beings. I just learned to be in the moment once in a while and put away my phone.
that's my story.
I learned to appreciate the moment a little more, to run around like a kid, eat your popcorn, just sit down and enjoy a movie. Life is not that complicated. People like me, without spirituality, without religion, we need that sort of clarity. We need that sort of reminder that life is simple. Shit is not as complicated as we think. We can learn to appreciate to live in the moment. And the normal stigma is that the bad trips. You know, what if you trip and you don't come back? I knew this guy, he climbed into his kitchen cabinet and he never came out. I've never seen that happen. I've had tons of bad trips. Honestly, I became a better person because of it. You freak out not for no reason. You freak out because you're suppressing something that you're ignoring when you're sober. When you're tripping, you gotta deal with it, no matter what it is. The worst trip I ever had when I was 18. Fucking hate thinking about it. Crawled up in my blanket, walls closing in. Feeling so uncomfortable, feeling depressed, and I didn't know why. The reason was because I wasn't uploading videos. It had been 6 months between. Hadn't made one single video. I was distracting myself, going out to parties, drinking all the time, smoking weed. So I said, fuck it. Next day, I uploaded Depression Is Not a Meme. I haven't stopped uploading videos since. You might not even be watching this video if it wasn't for an acid trip. I freaked out and had to confront something that I was ignoring. It was a terrible trip, but it was worth it. I'm not at school anymore, so I can talk about this even though it's stigmatized. That's the #1 reason I haven't talked about it for so long. Not just because it's gonna disappoint my mom, I'm sorry mama, but because of the stigma.
The United States government still has LSD, ecstasy, and marijuana classified as Schedule I drugs next to fucking heroin, claiming to have the most severe psychological and physical dependence. But Xanax is 3 levels safer, and fucking lean is all the way at the bottom. Not only is this stigma unjustified and based on lies, but it's profitable. A lifelong supply of antidepressants can be thousands and thousands of dollars. But an acid trip is 10 bucks. Maybe you've seen the articles from scientists and psychologists exploring the mental health benefits of these Schedule 1 drugs and finding that it can cure depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Not because there's some special healing properties in eating mushrooms like it's Minecraft, but anyone who's taken psychedelics knows it provides something as simple as perspective. One of these new psychedelic patients described it as being reminded of things he'd already known. Maybe that's why the government actively feeds these scare tactics today. Look at these soldiers in the 50s tripping balls in a government-funded military experiment. They knew about the research that's popular today 70 years ago. They stopped all funding and banned the research when they realized what it was doing to people. The Swiss scientist Albert Hofmann, who first synthesized acid, said it better than I ever could. The youth culture's adoption of LSD in the 1960s was an understandable response to the emptiness of a materialist, industrialized, and spiritually impoverished society that had lost its connection to nature. Maybe the reason psychedelics are listed alongside heroin is not because of a safety concern. Maybe they're afraid of what we'll see.
Yo, I'm not even just making this up. I read a book to do research for this video. I read the first chapter of this book, and it says it on the cover, so I know what I'm talking about. Stay educated. I started realizing on psychedelics that you see the world through this one lens, as if it's these train tracks over here. Don't you see how cinematic that is? The last time I tripped, I talked to my friend who's from Georgia, which is a really conservative nation, kind of around Russia and that Europe-y area. And we're talking about gay people. And he says, gay people, they can't help the human race. I'm like, why? Because they can't reproduce. Which is the stupidest shit I ever heard, first off, because we don't need more people clogging up the highway. We don't need more people. All I heard from him saying that was that gay people make him uncomfortable and he needs a reason to say that. But he didn't understand that. He can't just come out and admit that gay people make him uncomfortable because he didn't grow up that way. He grew up thinking that gay people are weird. You see the world through this one little lens. You take acid and trip out, and that filter that you've been seeing the world through your whole life, it doesn't exist anymore. People are afraid to be uncomfortable. They don't want to have to face things that they're suppressing. When you're tripping, you have to deal with them. For example, when I was 18, I was depressed as fuck on this trip. Everyone's having a good time, they're sitting around like smoking weed, and I'm there like, what the fuck is going wrong with my life right now? Like, why am I not happy? I'm on drugs, I should be having a good time. I'm there like shaking. The only reason I'm still uploading videos right now was because of a bad trip. I freaked out and realized what was wrong in my life. I honestly don't think I would have figured that out on my own. I had another bad trip when I was 16, the first time I took mushrooms. If you were ever a teenager with friends who do drugs, you'll know that a lot of your friends are only there because you're both doing drugs. I bought the mushrooms, I'm hanging out with my friend, and the second the shit kicks in, he's like, bro, I'm gonna go to the other room. When you're tripping for the first time and your buddy doesn't even want to be in the same room as you, that fucking sucks. The realization just hit that this guy's not even my friend. He just wants the free drugs. I'm bugging out on this trip. I'm freaking out. Your friends don't like you. Your acne's terrible. Girls think you're ugly. I was battling all my insecurities one by one like it was a video game. They're coming at me like levels. But after that, the insecurities didn't really bother me as much anymore. I had to confront them. I realized what was really bothering me, and I started acting to fix them. This is definitely going to get backlash. You know, nobody wants you to promote using drugs, especially hard drugs like psychedelics. I'm just being honest. There's no reason for me to promote this. Only the fact that it's genuinely helped me. I'm not saying you have to take them to be a better person, but it's helped me in a lot of ways. I don't think that I would see the world in this lens if I wasn't taking psychedelics. I stopped caring about social media following. I stopped caring too much about what people thought about me. I started acting and living for myself and having a new appreciation for the world. Maybe I just like doing drugs. Maybe I'm just a crackhead. Am I coming off like a crackhead?
Hey guys, it's me from editing. Videos like this are literally always gonna get demonetized, so I'm gonna plug my Patreon real quick. If you want to support me to make more videos like this, that's where I can make a living doing it. I've started putting up exclusive videos on Patreon. For example, if you want to learn how I make my videos, there's a 30-minute editing tutorial where I detail my timeline and how I get my shots and all that. Also, I'm releasing my clothing line soon. It's at quality.clothing on Instagram. It really looks dope. I'm happy with what my brother and Jordan are doing. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. See ya.
Wow, did you see that? Yo, that would have been bad. 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 That would have been really bad. Fuck.